This is from the Bleacher Report. 3 takeaways from the Browns' win over the 49ers. Number 1, Cleveland survives mistake from P.J. Walker, the quarterback. Number 2, the defense passes its biggest test of the season so far. And number 3, run game is starting to reemerge. We'll talk about the defense at length in the next segment. Let's talk a little bit about P.J. Walker and the run game. Fred, there were throws that P.J. Walker made in that game where I was like, oh, it's pretty good. And then there were throws that I made that he made that was like, whoa, what are you doing? I mean, it was a really up and down performance by P.J. Walker.
Well, and let's not be surprised. He wasn't, a grizzled 10-year veteran, like a Case Keenum, somebody like that. He started a few games, I think 7 in the NFL, but none this year. And so he had a little experience. And so that's kind of what you saw, some good and some bad. And I think really what they wanted after the DTR game is just don't lose us the game. Give us a chance to try to win it. And, and for the most part he did. But then there at the end, put him in a position where he almost lost the game. They dropped an interception and would have sealed their fate. But he did what he had to do and made some plays. And what do you expect? He came up from the practice squad, a day or two before. And that's kind of what you got. I think that Josh Dobbs would have been similar, except Josh Dobbs had been in the system longer, and might have given you a little better effort. But you got to win. Everybody forgets about all the negatives. You didn't really expect or want your backup to ever play, this year. And yet, for like the 10th time since the team came back, they played at least 3 quarterbacks starting games. And I would have never guessed that in game 6, you would have had your 3rd string quarterback, P.J. Walker, playing and Jerome Ford starting at running back. And that's what it goes in the NFL.
The run game was actually pretty good. They needed to kind of tweak it during the bye week, and it looks like they figured some things out.
Yeah, it was, I don't know how to describe it. I was on a lot of shows before the game, and I said the best thing the Browns have going for them is the 49ers blew out the Cowboys. They're 5-0. They're coming in here. Maybe they'll have a letdown coming to the East Coast. And they did to some degree, but as far as the running game, the same thing. You thought, okay, I wrote a story last week just for the game. They've struggled after 200-yard games in the first 2 with Nick Chubb out. They rushed for like 44 prior to a garbage drive and 78 in those 2 games. And then they put up 160 against a team that's given up 64. Oh, and by the way, without 2 Pro Bowl linemen, Jack Conklin and Joe Bitonio. So how can you figure that out against that 49ers front? So you would think with Bitonio coming back, they'd even be able to build on that. But I think it helped. I think Kareem Hunt looked better than he did in the first couple games. Looked like a little quicker, running hard. And Ford, that's what Ford seems to do. He seems to plod, not get much, and then he'll break a big run. And, that 22-yard run was probably the big run of the game, that set up the game-winning field goal.